Okay, we are here on air. Just gonna wait a moment or two to see if anybody else joins us for this evening, and start shortly after that. Okay, I'm going to start today from Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya, which is on Vav Bays 6b. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines above the Mishnah in the Vilna edition. So Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya was the grandson of Rabbi Yehuda Nossi. Sholach Rabbi Yosha rabbis and Rabbi Yosha the Great. Chada Atam, one thigh. I'm not sure if it's, I assume a thigh of a calf. I will see in a moment actually. V'chad Lagin the Chamor, and he actually won't see in a moment. I assume it's a thigh of a calf, and Chad Lagin the Chamor, and a measure of wine. Sholach B'Amalei. So he sent back to him a message. Varmai said, "Kiyam Tabani, you fulfilled with us." Rabbi Yosha Rabbah said to Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya, he said, "You fulfilled with us both." Fulfilled us with these two things. Because Rabbi Yoshia was a poor person. So then he sent him a cake, like a goal, a round cake, like an uga, and the chagor of the chamor, and another measure of wine, which is a larger measure. Lugin is like a pitcher, and a gorov is like a barrel. And so that you fulfill with us mishloach manos ish re'eu, so the shalach manos from one to the other. So the Shaitar so explains that shalach manos is when the other person has something to eat, and nevertheless you send them an additional measure. Rabbi Yehuda was very poor, however, and before Rabbi Yehuda sent him the first gift, he had nothing to eat. Therefore, the first mishloach gift was the matanos of Yonim, and then he had a moneh, and then afterwards the mishloach was the second mishloach. Second sending was the mishloach manos. So it's an interesting idea that the Chiddush in the Yerushalmi, from the Bavli, it seems that you can become matanos of Yonim and the mishloach manos simultaneously together with the same gift. The parallel case in the Yerushalmi, in the Bavli and Dav Zayin. But in the Yerushalmi, it seems, according to the way Shaitar so warns it, that Mishloach Monos has to be that somebody already has a Mana above and beyond. And there's a logic there, because Mishloach Monos is meant to be Marbe Reus and Chiba. It's to enhance friendship and love between man and his fellow man. And if it's providing with a basic necessity, it's much more of a charity as opposed to a gift, an enhancement. Even though Matanos Abiyam is also called a gift, it's a matana. As a matter of fact, Rabbi Mengel says you're not Yosid Tzedakah with Matanos Abiyam because it's a gift, it's not charity. But nevertheless, the idea is in Mishloach Manos is above and beyond the basic sustenance, giving something which is Marbe Reus, and therefore he has to have the basic necessity first, and then he can do Mishloach Manos. That's a Shaitar, so explains Yerushalmi. It's a nice explanation. Okay, Tani, we learned. I have here a circle, but I'm not sure what is going on. I don't know. Okay. Tani, we learned b'makom she nichnosin kornes Dalet. Now, the Tzion Yerushalayim, which is on the bottom here. Oh, I see the circle which I put in was the Tzion Yerushalayim. So Tzion Yerushalayim on the bottom it says Tani makom she nichnosin ayin korban eda v'sham Yerushalayim v'nidchu b'kubatzeh. They had difficulty with this lashon. Avakulam lo ro divrei Ramban. None of them saw the words of Ramban. Resh Megillah. Shevia Girsa brings to the Girsa Tani b'mokum she mesaknin, in a place where there's danger. According to Yudalit. So the boy, which is the next line of Yerushalmi in the Gemara. Boy in b'mokum she mesaknin. If it says there's danger, Lo yikru kolika, you shouldn't read it all. So Mevurin Divrei Yerushalmi. That's the way he explains Yerushalmi. And again, it's an issue of the sakana. And the question is, if it's a sakana, so then why should you? It's not a Yeharek Vayavor to read Megillah. He goes on to discuss why that issue might be an issue or not an issue of perhaps it is Yeharek Vayavor because there can't be Okra Takonos Cholim altogether. But it's interesting. The Mashbiach takes the Girsa as it appears in front of us, and he says talking about where the people of that city, the people of that city, where the people of the village come to read, they're reading in Yudalit and not with the Bnei Akfarim. In other words, they don't read earlier, so therefore there's only one time to read it, which is on Yudalit. So therefore they have no choice but to read on Yudalit. So when I it's partial, because obviously if you have no choice of reading Yudalit, then you can't go back to Yudalit Beis Gimel. You can't. But again, I think the Ramban's Girsa, because Ramban is a Rishon and he had this Girsa in the Gemara, is important and probably is the primary Girsa in the Gemara. Okay, let's go on to the Mishnah. Koros HaMegillah b'Adar Rishon. Let's say they read Megillah in the first in Adar Rishon. It's Rabba Shana, and the year became a leap year. Koros b'Adar Sheni. They read in Adar Sheni. Aim in Adar Rishon Adar Sheni. There's no difference between Adar Rishon and Sheni. El Mikra Megillah Matan Sabyonim. In other words, the Pesach, but Purim, Katan is like Purim, main Purim with only the distinction of Mikra Megillah Matan Sabyonim. So it says Gemara Masnisa Ibur Chaka Karu Osa. Our mission is talking about when you have to read it again. It's either Abirit before Yudalit Ador, which that you came Ador Rishon. That the Ibur was not appropriate. And close about Chaka Hebrew, but if they read it and then made the Ibur Yor, then they added second Ador Lobadah. In that case, they don't have to read again in the second Ador. Okay, the Bryce does not say this. About the Rishon, this Abra Shona, they read the Megillah and Adar Rishon, and then, I'm sorry, I said Bryce, but it's the Mishnah, right? Because Mishnah says, the Mishnah says, the Lashon Mishnah says, Koros Megillah Adar Rishon, this Abra Shona, Koros Adar Sheni. So it seems clear from Mishnah that the Ibur happened after they read the Megillah, right? So it must be that they read the Megillah did when they read it. Nevertheless, they have to read it again in Adar Sheni. Rabbi Yirmiyah Rabbi Shmuel Yitzchak said, "Ma'asu Mordechai v'Esther." What did Mordechai and Esther do? It says if you take a look in the Korban Eidah, it says the Steve Kasher Kiyem Alei Mordechai Yehudi v'Esther Amalka. They're making this on the Jews. They sustain it. Mashmashhein leBalam Kimi Hadavar. It says like they themselves alone were the ones who were kind of this matter. And then it says Mamar Esther Kiyem. It says Mamar Esther Kiyem somebody else. Sounds like other ones did. So everyone know what did Mordechai and Esther do. So because he got the Shulchan Rabbeinu, they wrote a letter and they sent it to the Anshe Knesset Agdoila, or we assume it's the Anshe Knesset weren't necessarily sitting at the time, whoever was considered the central body of Judaism at the time. The Shulchan says Shekain. So it's interesting that in this light, the Mashbiach changed gears from Shekain to Shem Beis Gimel, which stands for him as abbreviation Sheba Gola. It was a sense of the central body of scholars of Judaism, of the Talmidei Chachamim, who were sitting in Gola Yerushalayim at the time for the mass Aliyah of Ezra and Nehemiah. So Amen. So you're going to accept these 2 days every year? Amen. No. We have enough tzaros which come upon us. You want to add also the tzar of Haman? So the Korban Eidah says, the Gonanjus will say that we're happy that downfall. In other words, Purim will be a thorn in our side. So then wrote a second letter. which it says the Kaim Alem Purim Azos Hashanis. Maya Kosuba. What did they write in it? It said, if you're afraid of this, it's already written in their own chronicles, right? The archives, literally, but they're chronicles. As it says, so therefore, it's already written. It's done that we made a big simcha at their downfall. So therefore, by not making this yom tov, you're not saving yourself anything. It says Gemara, Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachman Rabbi Yonason says, Shmonim v'chamisha zekenim me'em shloshim cham nevim. So in this synod, this group, wherever it was, there were 85 zekenim and 30 nevim of them among them. They had anguish about this. They said, Steve, Elam mitzvah shetziva Hashem es Moshe. These are mitzvah Hashem command Moshe. Elam mitzvah shetziva Moshe. These are mitzvah which Hashem commanded us through Moshe. The Gach Ma'al Moshe, and Moshe said, Ein navi at acher asila chadesh lachem davar. Till now, there are no additional holidays in the Jewish calendar. There's no such thing. So it said, how can we possibly add on a new holiday at this point? It goes against what it says in Torah, right? Or actually, Torah, that's not the lashon of the Torah, but Torah says that the lo sosif. So this is adding on. They want to add on something else. Lo zotim misham. They didn't move from there. No sima, no sima dover. They kept them discussing the matter back and forth. Achir Hakadosh Baruch Hu was say name. This is found in the Bible too. Until Hakadosh Baruch Hu illuminated their eyes, they found it written in Torah, Nevi'im, and Ksuvim. How so? By Yomer Hashem Moshe Ksov Zosi Koram B'Sefer. Write this about Yom as the Korban commemoration in the book. Zos Torah. That's Torah. Come on, Tamar. Zos Torah Shlomo Shalei Bnei Bnei Yisrael. So it's talking about Torah Big Zav. Zikaron El Nevi'im, as it says, by Kosev Sefer Zikaron in front of the Hashem. So that's a book of memory, commemoration. B'Sefer Ksuvim. Oh, it also speaks Ksuvim. We don't have it yet in Ksuvim, so therefore they decided we're going to put in Sefer Esther in the Ksuvim. And evidently, it's the same cheshbon as to whether to add on. The Megillah was the same cheshbon as to whether to add on Yotzef. There's the Rambam says, I've seen him called Megillah Esther. So evidently, because Megillah Esther has a smach from the pasuk, and once Megillah Esther exists, so therefore Yimei Purim has to exist as well, and therefore Yimei Purim lo yavim mitoch hayudi. Vayiktob Sefer Zikaron from Rei Hashem. I'm sorry, I just read that. Because Vayiktob Sefer Zikaron from Rei Hashem, the Sefer Ksuvim. Right. Okay, I just went back a line. Scratch it. Just ignore that. So the statement of Esther sustained the word. These words of Purim was written in the book. Rabbi Yonason bar Kapor, Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. They said, this Megillah was stated to Moshe at Har Sinai. Ela she'ein mukdam u'uchar ba'Torah. Fascinating thing. In other words, it was given at Moshe at Har Sinai, but even though it was given, it was not written in Ksuvim. Right? So Rashi says, "Ein mukdam u'uchar ba'Torah" refers to in Torah B'Ksav, specifically Chumash, when he brings it down several times in Chumash. But he was saying that also in terms of Tanakh, the certain things which are given, and Eov could be another example, that appeared at the time Moshe, things are not necessarily in Tanakh in chronological order. The fact that they're put in different parts of Tanakh doesn't mean that has anything to do with chronology. Now, when I don't think when it says it was given to Moshe Sinai, it means that the actual Megillah was given to Moshe Sinai. That's not the case. But rather that this Moshe Rabbeinu was told, you should know there's going to be something in the book of Ksubim about Amalek. And this is going to be, perhaps he was even told Moshe Rabbeinu personally what the contours of the miracle were going to be. But the actual Sefer was given later on. Okay. Yochum Shimon Lakish, Rabbi Yochum Shimon Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan and Avim Aksuma Sim Lis Batel is the Rambam which I just mentioned. The Chamesh Sipur Torah ain't Asin Masin Levatel. The Avim Aksuma bet be null, which means they'll lose their consequence or significance, evidently, but not to the Torah. My time, why? Kol Gadol V'lo Yasaf. Chumash is a Kol Gadol V'lo Yasaf. It's a great sound which never ceases. In other words, it reverberates through eternity. Shimon Lakish Amar Av Megillas Esther. V'halachas ain't what's about the Megillas Esther and halacha, meaning Shulchan Aruch. Well, that wasn't Shulchan Aruch. Are not going to ever be canceled. How so? Nemar Khan Kol Gadol V'lo Yasaf. A voice which will never cease. The commemoration of Purim will never cease from their descendants. And how do we know halachos will be fair? Because halichos olam lo, their laws of eternity. Rabbi Levi Shem Lakish said, "Tov, very famous medrash. Tov HaKadosh Baruch Hu Hashem foresaw Haman Rosh Hasilish Kol Kaspo Yisrael. That Haman the wicked is eventually going to give them money to buy the Jewish people. Omar said, Mutav Shekdim Kaspon Shel Banayel Kaspo Shel also Rasha. Now, better than my money comes before his money. V'ira Magdimim, the Kohen B'Parash Shkolim, that's why Parash Shkolim precedes Purim. Each and every year. So this goes back to our Mishnah. All years should be the same in terms of Purim. The years which are leap years should be the same as non-leap years. Just like here, which is not leap year, either Somach and Nisan, either is Jason Nisan is the one in which we read the Megillah. Which is a leap year, either Somach and Nisan, we read the Megillah in the other, which is adjacent to Nisan. Rabbi Chelbo said, what's the reason? In order that the redemptions of Purim and Pesach should be associated with each other. Rabbi Levi Shem Mechanech said, also Shana Haisa Muberes. That year in which the Megilas took place, that was an Iber Yor. It was a leap year. And that's why, and evidently it took place in Adar Sheni. So that's why you do an Adar Sheni when there is an Adar Sheni. I lost my place again. My time and Chodesh Shnei Masar Hu Chodesh Ador. So the question is, if you look at Eda, he says Hu Chodesh Lamali. Why does it say Hu Chodesh Ador? Chodesh Yud Beis Shebechol Shana. It's the 12th month every year. Aval Atu Chodesh Gimel. And now it's the 13th month. Okay, so therefore it is. The Chodesh indicates that it was a leap year that year. So I have here a note on the side of my Gemara, which I'm not going to get into, but it says here, look at the Chasam Sofer below, and the Aura of the Amudei Yerushalayim, which is next to Chasam Sofer, is correct. According to Carbon Ada, there is no question, but we won't take the time to get into that at this point. Okay, let's go further. Says the Gemara, Adar Rishon Tosefes, Adar Sheni Tosefes. Which of these months is the actual additional one? Could say the first, could say the second. Ma b'neion, what's the difference? In other words, what's the difference? Which one we look at as the Tosefes as additional month? So Rishon Bar Yitzchak Mashnei Kibsei. Here it says Atzeres, but this is very strange because Shavuos have to do with this. So it says Shnei Kivosim. The Garban takes out the word Atzeres. So he says Hachi Perusha Hashanim Shal Kivosim Shal Tmidim V'Rosh Chodesh Ika B'Nayu. Ksibu B'nei Shana. The same B'nei Shana Hoyu B'Sulim. In other words, the question of Kamina is, when do they become a year older, right? In terms of making them possible to serve as korbanos in the Beis Hamikdash. So if a sheep is born on the 15th day of Adar in a non-leap year, and then it goes into a year which is leap year, we're going to say that the first Adar is the additional one, Shana Ruchai, so it's a longer year, and therefore its birthday is only Adar base, and therefore it's not possible to after Tesvav Adar base. Item Adar Sheni Tosefes, let's say the second month is Tosefes additional, Eno Elar Chamisha Sob Adar Rishon, only has until 15th day of the first Adar. Okay, the Ritbaz has here tries to goes into length, into difficulty in trying to reconcile this with the famous Yerushalmi, which says that when the Sanhedrin decrees an extra month, leap year, so then with the Basulim, of a girl who's under 3 years old, which we say return, even if she had relations or something else happened to them, that they return for an additional month, because the way the Sanhedrin is goes there, that's the way nature follows, and therefore the Sanhedrin goes an extra month to add on to the third year, then her Basulim would go back for an extra month. It wouldn't stop according to the 36-month point. So we'll go on for 37 months. So why here do we say that? Not that way. We see that the birthday is in the first Adar, not in the second Adar. So I write here on the side that it seems to me that we can distinguish between halachos which have to do with the year, and the numbers of years, and halachos which have to do with months. Okay, so evidently what I tried to say is that there is a difference between multiple year halachas, which are like the 3 years, where the 3 years are determined by Sanhedrin, as opposed to something which has to do with the amount of months. In other words, 12 months is already considered to be a year in terms of it being 12 months old. So therefore, it's not, when you say a girl begins her third year, so I mean we're talking about year. So that's why it has to be, even though Sanhedrin adds a month, it still adds extra months to go back. But in the case of an animal is 1 year old when 12 months have passed. So therefore, one could say that unless Chazal deliberately said the second month is the first month till 7, is that after 12 months, this is a year old. The birthday's not till next month, but still, it's a year old. Unless you say that, no, they pushed it off deliberately and said that it's the next month, which becomes even a year old. Okay, I'm not sure if this, right here on the side, I'm not sure if this is a good chiluk, but perhaps this is something along those lines. The Mishnah says that our first Adar is the addition. The thing I tell them we went over there. They testified that they can make a leap year the entire Adar. So the Mishnah in Eduyos, that you can make a leap year until the very last day of Adar Rishon, right? Tani Hada Amara. Sorry. Shemaya will show you. Omi previously said it at Purim. Once in a time they can only make an Ibn yard to Purim, but then they testified that that it can go beyond that. Okay, and they also testified Shemar Mitzvah Shana tonight. They also testify you can be Ma'aber Shana, you can make a leap year on condition that the Nasi consents to this. Hadam Raz teaches Adar Rishon Tosefes, teaches that Adar Rishon must be additional month, because Intem Adar Shein Tosefes is going to say Adar Shein Tosefes Lo Kiem Al Shatum Arba Lo. You didn't come to you didn't fulfill a year, and you're going to make it a leap year. So I write it on the side that I'm not sure exactly what the evidence is here from here, and it could be that Adar before Nisan is always Adar before Nisan is always close. It's only 29 days. So you couldn't say that you do an Ibor the entire month. One second. All right, let's first see the next line in the Gemara, because it's based on that. So, Mar Ukva Ashka train Igrin. Mar Ukva found two letters. What's it said? It said Shabi Bapoy Ba'api Chavroi. It was found favor in my eyes and the eyes of my friends. Most of this was the Nazis writing this. Most Falshato Tlosim Yoimit. They add 30 days to the year. Vadox, in other words, it says Shabi Bapoy Ba'api Chavraya. Moitzel Shato Yarach Yom. It says it added a month, not 30 days. Madamar Tlosim Yoimin. Hugh said 30 days. Adar Rishon Tosefes. Right? The view said 30 days. Holds that Adar Rishon is the Tosefes. So the pshat is, it seems, that Adar Sheni is always chaser. It's always chaser. It's only 29 days. Like to Yerushalmi brings down here on the bottom. Okay. See, so my Ukva holds that the manor holds that you add 30 days must hold that Adar Rishon, which is full, is the Tosefes. Because Adar Sheni cannot be 30 days. The manor says that they added a 29 days holds that that the Adar Sheni is the Tosefes, because it could be, because it's the Chaser, just like it's 29 days, just like Adar Sheni is supposed to be. So the Gemara says, if you want to bring a right from this, it's not necessarily true. You can't derive anything from here. Why? Because the Rabbi Yaakov Baracha said, Rabbi Yudan said, Rabbi Yudan Zuri said, Rabbi Simon Zuri, Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi said, Olam Shnei Chodoshim Mubarim. You can have 2 months which are leap months. Iber as a Rishon below Iber as a Sheni, Masha also Asui. If you made the second one, the first, and also if you made the first one 30 days and you make the second one 30 days, whatever you do is okay. Now, whether we pass them or not, in terms of this notion of you made either the first one or not the second one, because it sounds like we're pointing that it's the reverse of what we do, because we do it that way. It sounds like he wants us to do it the other way, to make it 29:30 as opposed to 30:29. But be that as it may, the point is that there's no evidence for the amount of days, right? So, but we don't pass, so therefore you can't bring a raya from the fact that one said 30 yerach and the other said tlosin, because it's not necessarily determined. But lo'olam adar samach l'nisur chaser. We really say that adar samach l'nisur is chaser. Now, what does it mean? So Gemara says no. According to Mar Ukva, it is always chaser, and therefore, according to Mar Ukva, who we paskin like, it is a raya. Because Mar Ukva said that it depends. So again, it depends. Not a raya. So the Madamra holds 29 days since we paskin like him. Holds that Adar Sheni is the 7th one. Said 30 days holds Adar Rishon is the 7th. Now let's go back to what we said before. What we said first. Hada Amara, the third line from the top. Hada Amara Adar Harishon Tosefes. Right? In fact, it says that Hey Yerushalmi is trying to call Adar. Call Adar says Adar Rishon is Tosefes. Right? In Tamer Adar Sheni Tosefes, because say Adar Sheni is Tosefes. Lo Kiyem al Shaita Aberla. So that it's you can't it's not sustained on the year, and you're doing it Iber. Now clearly the issue is the last day of Adar Rishon. The last day of Adar Rishon, according to our assumption, Mar Ukva is going to be a 30th day, right? Because we can, according to the sheet of Mar Ukva, it's 30 days for Adar Rishon and 29 days for Adar Sheni. So therefore, if that's the case, we're saying something along these lines. The Adar Rishon, the last day of Adar, is theoretically already right to be Nisan, because the 30th day of the month could be Rosh Chodesh. We know that Chodesh Chosar, the following month, starts on what would have been the 30th day of the month. So therefore, we're saying that how can we possibly say that you make an Ibor Yor until the very end of Adar, because we know that we have principle on the day which is right to be Nisan, we can't make a leap year. has to be before the day which is right to be Nisan. So therefore, what the Gemara is saying is that if once they're testified that the entire month you can make an Iber, and we know that this is going to, we know that means until the 30th day, because that month is supposed to be 30th day. It's really what you're saying is that on a day which could have been and should have been Nisan, you're still giving them the possibility of adding a day. That can't work. So I'm not sure reading the words. I think that that's the shot. But let's go back and see it inside. It says, In Tema Adar Hasheni Tosefes. It's going to say Adar Hasheni Tosefes. So then Adar Rishon goes 30 days, right? And Lokiem Al Shaita, you haven't made it yet. Definitely an extended year. Umaber Law. In other words, the year is still up in the air. You're saying Rosh Chodesh Nisan because Billy is still last day of Adar. So how can you choose this day, and how can you make this day still? And if the Adar Sheni is Tosefes, how can you possibly say that on the very last day of the year you're going to tack on 30 days? But if you're going to say Adar Rishon is Tosefes, so then it's coming out that it was never a day, which is right to be Nisan, because this was the additional. This was the original. This is the added month, and the year is really only over 29 days from now. It's a very difficult thing to say. It's not easy to say this. It might probably is totally wrong, but I don't have any better understanding of this line in the Gemara. Okay, so let's go back to the Gemara. We go up to Tanur Mishum Gamliel Omer. Mishum Gamliel says, Mitzvah sanoah goes b'adar sheni, eino goes b'adar rishon. The mitzvahs which are going to come upon us in real Purim of Adar Sheni don't apply to Adar Rishon. Chutz and Hesped and Tainus, the prohibition of Hesped and Tainus are prohibited. Shein shavim b'zeh b'zeh. But Rabbi Yom Shem Rabbi Shimon Levi halokram shegamliel. That's what they have in common. Hesped and Tainus. Rabbi Chuna Rabbah the Tziporim. According to the great Tzipor, Amar Hinig Rabbi Chanina Tzitzpor Kadar Shimon Gamliel. That was the custom which they had in Tziporim. Ramar Elahinig. It's only customary. Halal, but it's not obligatory. Now, I'm not sure what he meant by it's not obligatory, but somehow this is not definitive for all times. We come back now to the issue of what's a Tosefes and what's not. The Stars case in Adar Rishon, Adar Sheni, right? Adar Rishon, Adar Sheni is case in Adar Hasheni Tinyon. You write Adar Hasheni. The second was Adar, where or don't say one is equal. One this is Adar, and this is Adar Sheni, or this is Adar. This is Adar Rishon. This is Adar. That's Adar. This is Adar Sheni. Or this is Adar Rishon, and this is Adar, right? But we can also write. He says Tinyon, and also which is in Aramaic, and Rabbi Adar Sheni because it's tough. The dial. You write tough, which stands for Tinyon. Okay, we learned over there. Ain't been Adar Rishon Adar Sheni. That's the only thing which is different than that. We don't have it. So, Shinamri looks at the glass as half full, and this is glass half empty, or vice versa. But in any event, Levi said, no, it's the other things, which is not between Purim and Purim, but between Adar Rishon and Sheni, is that in the beginning of Adar Sheni is when there's leap year. That's when you say to bring the shkolim. We announced 30 days before Rosh Chodesh Nisan. That's time to bring the shkolim for the following year. Also, Kilayim, that we're going to uproot Kilayim within the next 30 days. The next line, Rabbi Chavar Rav Chuna, the Karmei takes it out until Am Rabbi Yosef Yus. Makes sense. Klum Amru Mashmim Al Shkolim. What's the reason to say Mashmim Al Shkolim? Look, they should be Shkolim B'Nasan. It's not that the Jews should bring the Shkolim at the proper time. Im Oymat Ba'adar Rishon, they say that they make announcement in Adar Rishon. Ad Kedun is B'Shai Tashisin Yoimin. So there's still 60 days left of the year. So people are going to forget. Klumam was simply why they say Yotzin Al Kilayim Loch Deshu Etzmachim Nikarim. Is it not because we need to recognize? So that time when it was already recognized what's growing with seed Kilayim. Imam Ba'adar Rishon in a leap year. One reason to make leap year is because the crops are behind. So you say you're going to make an announcement Adar Rishon. They're still too small to be able to distinguish what is Kilayim, not Kilayim. So therefore the announcement has to take place in Adar Sheni. Okay, we will stop here at this point, the end of Halacha A for this evening.